Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Stand back, Snyder Cut deniers. There's a hurricane coming through, and that is hurricane facts, motherfuckers.
Guess what, motherfucker?
What a crazy day in the Snyderverse or the Snyder Cut movement.
The Snyder cult.
However you look at it, whatever goggles you're wearing for this particular case, a lot of information came out today, something kind of significant for the most part. Mr. Sean O'Connell from Cinema Blend posted an article saying Zack Snyder reportedly screened his Snyder Cut of Justice League. What does that mean?
Pretty awesome stuff. This comes from Heroic Hollywood confirming that a screening took place, stating it seems like a recent screening of the film could lead to a wider release. Heroic Hollywood has exclusively learned and confirmed that Zack Snyder held a private screening of his cut of Justice League in the first quarter of 2020, with executives from DC in attendance. According to an individual with knowledge of the situation, something is happening with Snyder's cut of the film, and discussions are currently underway.
Hi, I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have: patience.
Mr. O'Connell continues, we can take this one a step further and report that according to our sources, gotta love that word, the screening took place on Thursday, February 6th. No details emerged about what came of the screening, but reports confirm it happened. So let's go through the list, shall we? I remember when Joss Whedon came about that he was completing Zack's movie and that Justice League that was going to be released on November 17th was going to be Mr. Snyder's movie. After the release of the movie, there is no Snyder Cut. It does not exist. Then slowly after that, well, it's actually only an assembly cut. It's all raw footage. There's no way there's a movie there at all. There's nothing cohesive that fans can watch. And then it starts getting moved up just a little bit more to a work print. And now it's being screened to WB executives in 2020. This movie was filmed in 2016. It came out in 2017, a bastardized version, and they're still talking about it. And they're screening it to executives in 2020.
And just look how happy he is.
Whether you want to believe it or not, there's obviously a strong tailwind that is pushing this movement forward, and there are more and more people that are jumping on board with this whole train, and now all of a sudden just want to be like, just kidding, there is a Snyder Cut coming out. Oh, look, it's been screening for executives.
That's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. You gotta keep on your toes. What toes that is? The fast ones get right by you. Keep your ears open.
Patience is a virtue, my friends, and as many people said, move forward, move on, why are you still talking about this? A lot of people persisted, and that's truly what makes Zack Snyder different than almost any other director in Hollywood. Whether you call it the Snyder cult, the Snyder army, or whatever that is, there's obviously a passionate group of fans. You don't get a million tweets off of a cult on Z-Day, November 17th, 2019. There's obviously a mass appeal for this movie and for Zack Snyder movies in general. That's what makes this so significant. Something that's so out of the norm for Hollywood. No one ever thought this was going to happen. Anybody working in Hollywood and a lot of these insiders or journalists never thought it would happen, because why would it happen? Also, Sean O'Connell adds that on February 29th, weeks after reported screenings, Snyder gave this film slate as a prize in his Justice League poster competition. The slate promised permission to the winner, artist Victor Koo, to be on set for any additional photography that Snyder might need to complete Justice League. He promises that after screening his cut for executives, aren't we safe to conclude they agreed on footage being needed and Snyder planning on completing it?
Very intriguing.
The buybacks that you're seeing already, the tone is shifting now even amongst the greatest Snyder haters of them all, except for one, but we'll get to him later. Even someone like Humberto Gonzalez, who runs Heroic Hollywood, the website that dropped this as an exclusive, even said back in 2018, DC fans, even though I was embarrassed to do so, I asked officially yet again about a Justice League Snyder Cut, and I got deaded. Sorry, but it ain't happening. The funny thing about that tweet is I went to go look for that tweet from Mr. Humberto Gonzalez, and it turns out I got this.
Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same.
Another tweet from Mr. Gonzalez, y'all need to let that pipe dream go. And then today, just a couple hours ago, He says, Zack Snyder's Justice League cut may get released after all. Huh. Exit stage left, Umberto. Your time is done.
The funny thing about this is that there's even individuals out there that, again, don't care much for Snyder or Snyder movies and are retweeting Humberto Gonzalez's tweet about Zack Snyder's Justice League cut may get released after all. So obviously now there's a general consensus within this group of journalists that there's something happening. There's things moving. The gears are turning. But for some, the gears don't quite work very well.
One fantastic individual on Twitter, who shall remain nameless to this point, he says legit outlets are afraid to share the full story in quotes to release the Snyder Cut fans, and hacks like @Heroic Hollywood and Humberto Gonzalez spit out lies. Here's what I heard. Zack screened his Snyder Cut in February and WB reps labeled it a piece of shit that should never see the light of day. #facts.
Shut up, bitch!
Where was this information when you dropped your exclusive Fandom Wire article a while back? If you knew about this, why didn't it come up then? So you're either making it up on the fly, or somebody with a clear vendetta saw what Heroic Hollywood posted and immediately contacted you to tell you this. You are being played, you dumbass. If you're not making this up, you're being played. And the fact that you can't catch on to that just blows me away. How at this point do you even feel remotely that you are right? You are becoming the minority, sir. Do not keep digging that grave any deeper than you already have.
Thou who shall not be named even continued, they did have a meeting. Only learned after my article that there was a screening too, like I said in the article. WB wants nothing to do with it, #facts. The question now is whether AT&T cares enough. Focus on them, but I'd be nicer instead of harassing folks.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
And then he continues crying and replies to a Sean O'Connell tweet. He says, can you please confirm that WB didn't like it and doesn't want it, so Snyder cultists will get off my ass, labeling me a liar? If more outlets report it, it's harder to deny, and we can put this dumb thing to bed.
What a loser!
So Voldemort keeps digging that hole more and more every day. I don't understand why he keeps digging this hole, but he does. And until he's somehow vindicated in whatever world that he lives in, he's just gonna keep going. And man, can this backfire. One thing that Mr. Nor cannot seem to grasp, even though so many have told him, AT&T is the one that wants the Snyder Cut, not WB. So maybe Mr. is right. Maybe a couple executives at WB think it's a piece of shit. All right, not a surprise. They want to hide this thing as much as possible because it makes them look like idiots. So of course they're going to call it a piece of shit. I'm sure they're going to be completely objective about this. Mr. O'Connell says that the screening happened on February 6th. It turns out that Hollywood Reporter article, the one titled "With Warner Brothers and Warner Max, is AT&T setting up a sibling rivalry?" Well, I looked and this was posted February 12th of 2020. And this article includes a lot of moments where WB executives are upset with how they're being treated by AT&T. Industry veterans fear that another legacy studio, Warner Brothers, is being ever so slowly metabolized by HBO Max. Not that Warner's will stop making movies, but many believe it will make fewer in a much narrow range. It's the new corporate owner AT&T going to give Warner's the proper resources they need? Another one saying HBO Max is the locomotive there. Another quote saying that's what matters to AT&T. Everything is dictated by the needs of HBO Max, not what Warner Brothers executives want. It's what HBO Max wants and what AT&T wants. Get that through your fucking skull. I don't know why somebody that's supposedly tied into the industry doesn't fucking get what's going on.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that you're the one who decided to cross this bridge to begin with. People like you are the creator of this so-called cult. Now, instead of backpedaling, you're doubling down and saying, nope, Look, it's WB, it's AT&T. Yes, we know that. And if you want to say yes, that they labeled it as a shitty movie or whatever the hell that they said, there is unstoppable momentum right now, and it is going in the positive direction for the Snyder Cut. And you either can get on this train or get the hell out of the way.
At this point, this thing is inevitable. Nothing is going to change that. AT&T sees profit. The fact that they could turn it into an episodic process means even more money.
Then a gentleman from @Comic Book Debate by the name of Shiraz Faruqi says any positive news made public on Justice League is always good, but important takeaways. Those who vehemently thought the Snyder Cut had no shot are slowly shifting stances for a reason. Number 2, difference between screening Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2020 versus 2017 is that AT&T is the new game in town, and that's a good thing.
Jordan face back, swoosh, and that's the game!
We'll leave you with this last tweet from Mario F. Robles from Revenge of the Fans. There's a reason one should never say never in the entertainment biz. So that, wow, that wasn't even words at all. So that'll end this little episode, guys. If you guys like this episode, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share it, subscribe, all that goodness. Thank you for all the positive stuff we've been seeing, all the comments we've been getting lately. They've been great. They've been fantastic. I've enjoyed every comment that we have received lately. Awesome stuff.
Every single one of them. And please make sure to hit that notification bell. That is very important. If you are subscribed to us, hit the notification bell and please help us out. If you are interested, we do have a Patreon, and thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. We appreciate you dearly.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.